Okay, so I think that we're going to start. Tanya, you're here as well?
I am here as well.
Wonderful. So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar on why reselling Microsoft 365 with Dynamics is a great idea. It's not just a good idea, it's a great idea. Today we have Tanya Fortin, who is a Dynamics 365 account manager at SureWeb, and from the picture you can see that she can take over the world. We have me, Alex Laflamme. I'm a SME, which is subject matter expert, and SME sounds fun to say, so I say it a lot. And it looks like, I find something funny in that picture. And then we have Joel, who's also a subject matter expert, but in Dynamics 365 specifically. So as you can see from his picture, he's just very happy to be here.
There you go.
The agenda today. So we're going to talk a little bit about, what we mean by the integration between M365 and D365. What benefits of the integrations are there for you and your clients. We're going to ask some tough questions about why you're not reselling Dynamics 365. We're going to try to show you how SureWeb can make it easier for some of these objections. I'm going to lay out some next steps for you, and hopefully, as I've said before, we're going to have a lot of questions, or at least a couple of questions, and if you're too shy to say them today, please do reach out to us afterwards. We really want to know. So for the first part, exploring the M365, D365 integration. Right there in the title, there is a big hint. There's just a letter difference between the name of the two lines of products. It's because they're both by Microsoft. So what that means is that the native integration just beats everything that's out there. There's a famous quote from Steve Jobs that talks about that perfect line of code, right? What is that perfect line of code that never breaks, that you never have to update, that never produces some odd behavior? Well, it's the one that you never have to write. And in the case of D365 and M365, since the integration is native because it's from the same company, it's from the same products, you never have to worry about a security update, a feature update, or anything like that that will break your product. And in the world of COVID, with everyone working remotely, it's extremely important to have a very reliable product that does not break every other week for updates, because getting those services back up and running is not a challenge that we need right now. Is there anything you want to talk a little bit about on the icons that we see? Because we try to take some screenshots for people that are visual. So if you might want to just kind of tell us a little bit about it, Joel, like what we're seeing here.
No, don't have anything to say.
No,
just
okay,
kidding.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're on your own. No,
Yep.
no, just kidding, just kidding. Basically, yeah, from what we're seeing now, we can see on their Microsoft Teams, we can see a little bit of Outlook also. I thought we could see a little bit of Outlook. Let's say we are seeing a little bit of Outlook. Basically, what I wanted to say, it's quite simple. When you're looking at building that perfect solution for any company, I guess you could go out and buy a lot of different software from a lot of different companies, but in the end, when you're trying to make them all work together, that's where you might face some challenges. And that's not necessarily what you want to do when you're running a business as an entrepreneur. Basically, you want things to work, you want things to keep working, and you just need the data. You just need the stuff that you're putting in there to make sense for you. You don't want to be dealing with how come this doesn't transfer over, how come these two software don't speak, how much will I need to invest to get these two to work together. Basically, Microsoft's looking at all of their products as an ecosystem. Let's say it that way. It's basically an ecosystem. It all resides on Azure. It all speaks to one another, and it makes sense out of the data that you're putting in. No matter where you're putting it in, you can leverage it and use it to make better decisions. Basically, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think you put up a great point about, whenever you're running a business and as an entrepreneur, if your business is developing Dynamics or developing a CRM or other solutions and things like that, okay, you may want to build it from the ground up. But think of it this way: if your business is delivering chicken meals, right, to people, like we have a lot of those around here, you're not going to spend a lot of time and resources building cars from the ground up for your drivers. You're much better off buying an already built car. And that's what we mean when we're talking about, different solutions. Instead of saying, okay, we're going to get the OS from Microsoft, we're going to get the CRM from X company, we're going to get our marketing tools from another company. It's really building the car from the ground up, which is not something you should be focused on. You should be focused on your meals that you want to bring to your clients and your business, and not having to deal with those other things. But as you're talking about like how it all communicates together, I think the next slide, yeah, it talks about the common data model. Please explain that to us, because we've heard the term before, but what does it really mean?
Yeah, and I think at some point when this first got out, people were a bit mystified by what it was. But basically, look at it this way: Microsoft decided to put data all in one space, which is on Azure, and then have all of their dynamic solutions, that Office solution, Power App solution, Azure solution, Power BI, name it. A lot of their software are just basically feeding off the same data inside the Azure database. So it's on one database. There's a common data model, so everyone understands the same thing. All of these software uh, can read that data in the same manner, and basically it can be used between one another. What do you think, Alex? Is this clear enough? You want me to go deeper?
No, well, it's always, I always get inspired with like the way you describe things, and I always try to think of certain analogies. And the way I see this right now, it's a bit like before everyone had their own measurement systems, and they were just saying, oh, we're gonna have stones, we're gonna have feet, we're gonna have this or that, we're gonna weigh things differently. But then Microsoft decided to create that standard, that common data model would be what we would call the metric system, so that whether you're developing something in Power BI or in Azure, you're using the same type of measurements. You're putting the commas on the same, two decimal places, and it's the same type of prefixes that go everywhere. This makes
Exactly.
it so much easier to work together. And then the other aspect of it that I kind of touched on a little bit with the other slide is the fact that whenever new things come up, because in here we talk about app developers, integrators, they can develop independently. When they're doing that, because it's all that same model, it's a lot easier to expand into new horizons, new projects, new features. So as soon as say Microsoft 365 comes up with a new feature for certain productivity tools, it'll be included in Dynamics already, and you'll be
Yeah,
able
there's
to
one umbrella, basically. There's
exactly
one umbrella. Everything resides under that umbrella, and everyone understands the same language.
exactly.
And
Whereas
I,
if you're
I
dealing, oh,
also,
yeah,
I also like to bring in a more simple way of seeing this. Imagine a company using an accounting system, using a CRM for their sales, and using another system for their after sales service, customer service. Well, there's actually three different files for each customers in those three different applications. This is tripling your data. This is trying to get everything figured out from three different systems. The common data model makes it that you only have one customer file for everything they deal with your company.
hmm
Yeah,
Makes more sense to me.
yeah, and
absolutely.
sometimes it's a pain to get to that, as I'm sure you've both seen in the many years we've worked together. Whenever a client wants to switch from one of their accounting solutions to something else, the migration process from one of those, I don't want to say exotic, but like non-common data model type solutions is very painful, and sometimes very difficult to replicate all the exact features that they had before. Not that they don't exist on the new model, but because the philosophy is different from the programming standpoint, it makes it sometimes that you have to kind of rebuild a lot of the stuff even after the migration.
And
So
also, if we see it in another way, anybody that wants to create software and want to make sure that their software connects to the Microsoft model, because Microsoft has really opened up to the rest of the world through APIs, through a lot of
mhm,
stuff, it makes it easy for developers working on their own software solution to kind of figure out how do we make this compatible with Microsoft, since they're this industry giant, and we want to make sure that our software can speak to the Microsoft stack, so the common data model. So it makes it easier for them as programmers to create something that will be able to speak with the Microsoft platform.
Yeah, and I think we have some examples of that a bit later. So yeah. So moving on, I'll let Tanya read this since we can't see her.
All right. So is the next slide coming, Alex?
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you not
already
seeing
there.
it?
Yeah, it's already there.
Okay. Well,
I
I'll
am.
read it. It's low bandwidth. That's why we're not seeing her, which is sad. You all saw her picture. It would be great to see her make those points visually. So combining the productivity features in Microsoft 365 with the business applications in Dynamics 365 will give your clients the perfect tools to run a more productive business. Because the goal of this is not just for our partners to make more money. The goal is to make their clients more productive and have more success in their projects, which will then trickle down to the partner as more income and more revenue.
Indeed.
Yes, we want to talk a little bit. We're putting up a bunch of examples right now of different ways this can help, and we thought it'd be good if we kind of chose just one each to just discuss a little bit. And I'm going to go first since I want to low-hanging fruit. It's really what we were just talking about, the click-to-call possibilities with the independent software vendor solutions. This is something that's very, very popular, which is through the APIs that Joel was mentioning, you're able with a VoIP solution to click on a lead in Dynamics 365 and it'll actually call them. Just as if you were calling someone internally with Teams, just like you would do normally for any other of your clients directly in your Outlook or Teams, but in D365 directly.
Yeah, and it's connecting with Skype also, probably coming to Teams quite early next year. But
Mm-hmm.
until then, it's connecting through Skype, and Skype connects to multiple software, as Alex mentioned. So it's possible to have kind of that all full-blown circle, and you can put on your headset, click to call directly from Dynamics. Makes it easier and faster.
Correct. And just imagine from other systems when you try to export a list, whether it's a list of invoices, whether it's a list of clients, trying to export this to Excel, having to correct the line header because it's not exporting the right way. Well, Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365 are made to work together. So you don't really need to export. You just open in Excel and the format is already there. So you're saving so much time and it's making things so much easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And each little thing that saves time, like say each activity that we're talking about saves you about 30 seconds a day, right? Because you're not always adding these things. But if we find 10 of these things, you're looking at 5 minutes a day. 5
Yeah.
minutes a day is, close to an hour a week, or, over an hour a week if you're like us and you work every day. And in the course of a year, you're looking at, a couple of weeks full time of productivity completely lost. So as a business owner, or as a partner talking to a business owner, you can have some hard financial facts to talk about how no, spending money on this type of service increases the productivity enough that in the end we are saving on costs overall.
And I would say the elephant in the room is you work right within Outlook without having to switch to D365. So how much time do we spend in a day moving from Outlook to any other software? And when you're getting those emails and looking at those and your mind goes with that email and then you're forgetting what you were doing within Dynamics 365 and then you come back and it takes you a couple of minutes just to get back to what you were doing while working right within Outlook. So getting that email saying, hey, I need a quote for something, or I want you to provide me information on this product, or no matter
Mhm.
what, and you're right within Outlook, and then you just click right within Outlook, create a quote from there, create a lead, do basically everything that you would be doing right inside Dynamics 365, but right within Outlook. The number of minutes you would save per day and a week and a year, as you said, times the number of employees on your sales team, and then put a number on there, and that number might be staggering. So yeah.
Yeah. And we always do this, right? When we talk about the cloud, we always try to bring the scaling option into it because of the fact that we're not limited by any type of physical, boundaries. So, your business can be 5 employees right now, can be 25 employees a month from now. They're all from different states. And the only thing that you've done in your system is add a user. There's none of that, oh, let's find them an office. Let's make sure we've ordered all the right computer equipment for them. Let's make sure, the onboarding process when you work with just that one solution is just amazing. We have another real life scenario. We thought Tana could talk about it a little bit. It kind of goes a lot with what Joel's example was just saying. So if you want to go through it very fast, you can.
Well, this type of solution, we always think of the simple CRM, but the CRM integrates to Dynamics 365 is a full ecosystem. So the efficiency you guys were talking about is quite amazing, and it's amazing across all departments, breaking the silos, making everyone work together. Just like Joel explained before, a salesperson that wants to close a deal often has to send out a contract or a quote, but everything is done automatically. They build their quote with a word integration into Dynamics 365 with Power Automate. There's a flow that is sent to the manager that can approve the quote or the contract and then be sent to the client. Once the client accepts it, it can be transformed into an invoice within the ERM portion of Dynamics 365. So everything flows so well, so efficiently, making managing a business a lot easier and giving insight and business intelligence to a business owner so much more to help them make better decisions, grow their business, and in the end, grow an MSP's business as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a great example and a great point, because when you think about it, the only action, the only decision was the client approving the quote, right? The account rep knew that the manager would approve it. They knew that the invoice would come along. They knew that, but all these other steps were to be done manually and they were redundant. But with technology, with that integration, all the salesperson has to get is the okay from the client. Everything else, like Tanya said, just flows from it. So you're reducing the number of actions, especially non-impactful actions that a salesperson has to do. So that's the type of things that we mean when we're talking about increasing productivity. It's not just like a vague type thing, but it's doing less mundane, repetitive tasks that don't have any impact on the business and doing more of the things that you would want to do, which is engagements with clients and getting those approvals.
Yeah, putting the client really at the center of the business is what Dynamics 365 and Microsoft 365 is helping do.
We added a little bit of benefits of things, and I think Joel wanted to get into that a bit more for us. What's good for us and what's good for them.
Yeah, exactly. So you get to prove you're valued. By the way, I have a dog, so everyone's hearing the dog right now going crazy because another dog just walked by. So let's get back. Yeah, so you get to prove your value to your clients. So basically, um, just think about it. All of your clients, what they're looking at when they're contacting you, they want you to provide them with answers. They want you to provide them with solutions. They don't want you to um, be the one that tells them, I don't do that, call someone else. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we're providing you with offers around how we can help you resell Dynamics 365. So that's a big benefit when you look at it from your client's perspective. When they're calling you and then you're telling them, yes, we can help you. Your clients then will save time. They'll improve their efficiency. So you can attract new business also. That's one of the nice benefit for you. If you start showing everyone that you're providing this business solution, well, that's a big advantage for you. And I guess what you're providing your customers now is a solution for any one of their business needs. So think about that for a second. When you're sitting down and you're the owner of a business, your day is basically finding solutions to problems. That's managing a business. So when they reach out to you and they have confidence in the fact that you'll find solution for them, you'll be friends for life. So that's one of the important stuff.
And
Yep.
if I could jump in, sorry. And when we're talking about, attracting new business, a lot of people, may hear this and be like, okay, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's a major crisis right now. People are battering down the hatches and they're not going back and not spending money or anything like that. This is absolutely true, but it's not the whole truth. When a company is looking to reduce costs, it doesn't mean that you will lose some business. It means that they're going to consolidate their services. They're going to try to improve on efficiencies. They're going to try to cut down on redundancies. So going to your clients and talking about doing exactly just that, consolidating all their services under one major umbrella that doesn't break because it's all natively integrated, and to show that they will be able to improve that productivity. Instead of having 5 employees work the 5 different systems, it's going to be 1 employee working that one fully integrated system. So you're going to actually win more business as you're accomplishing cost savings for your clients. So
Yeah, and we've
And
seen it there. Go ahead, Tanya.
sorry, allowing also everyone to work from anywhere on the same system without having to jump from one system to the other, call each other, everything, bringing back to the common data model, everything is in a single place and everything is in the cloud. So with all that's going on right now, perfect solution to have everyone working together from anywhere.
yeah,
And we've
precisely.
seen it a lot during the pandemic. So a lot of our customers, we didn't know, as anyone else, we didn't know how business would go for us at SureWeb. What would happen with Dynamics 365? Well, sales were through the roof. People figured out, well, this solution lets us work, as Tanya mentioned, from anywhere and be as efficient as if we were in the office. Um, and it provided people with solutions. So yeah, Dynamics 365 lets you work basically from anywhere that you like at any point in time. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and when we're talking about anywhere, just anyone here who's joined a Teams meeting, from a laptop or a cell phone or somewhere, uh, please understand that with Teams, you can have an extra tab integrated. That's your Dynamics 365. So if you're able to load Teams from somewhere securely with MFA, of course, you're going to be able to work from your Dynamics 365 just as securely, because the vehicle is still the enterprise grade security infrastructure of Teams that's behind there. Sorry, I kind of clicked on the next one very quickly. So as we were saying, and I think Joel, you said that just verbatim right
I'm
before.
always a step ahead.
So it really shows that you believe in what you're saying, because it is true. The role of the MSPs is really to try to add as much value to their clients. And right now, the clients have a lot of time to look for different providers that can, give them that value. So be as proactive as possible, even if it's not your expertise, because you are a partner in part of a partner network, you're able to find the help that you need. So it brings us to our difficult question. In French, we have an expression saying this, that it's the question that kills, right? So why aren't you reselling Dynamics 365? Usually what we find is that whenever we're asking that question, it prompts a reaction of fight or flight, which is a bit like whenever you're confronted with an emergency type situation or something you weren't prepared for. You can only have 2 types of reactions. It's the adrenaline that kicks in. Either you're going to run away or you're going to fight it. But it's very, very rare that when someone is asked a question like this, that they'll just say, "You're right, help." But we're hoping to get to that. So please think for a couple seconds as to what would be the main reason that you're not reselling Dynamics 365. I won't do the Jeopardy music, but just gonna kind of wait a little bit.
And we can also share the most common answers that we get when I talk to partners over the phone.
Well, yeah, that's right. Like I wanted to just give him a little thing, because when we have the next slide, but what we've heard from partners, there's a very good chance that the reason you came up with is one of these answers on here. If for some reason it isn't, we would love to have these other reasons and other objections that you would get from not wanting to resell Dynamics 365. And you can post those in the chat if you want. We're able to see it.
And we do have a poll also.
We do have a poll. Is it that same one? I think so. I am launching it now.
There we go.
That's what happens when you practice.
Yeah. We're all there for one another.
Those answers are what I hear the most on the phone when I talk to MSPs on Dynamics 365. And I have to say that the first deal they go through is very surprising for most MSPs when they decide to start reselling Office Dynamics 365, because they see how the process is a lot easier afterwards.
Well, you know, I'm the guy for quotes, right? So we have to know about the only thing that you have to fear is fear itself, right? And that's the same thing
Correct.
with anything that deals with technology. It's only scary until you've seen it or done it. And we found that it is, you know, going it alone is very scary. You don't want to mess up. You don't want to ruin those relationships with those clients to kind of show that, nope, you aren't ready for this. So it helps tremendously to have someone by your side, to have those training wheels when you take your first ride on the bike so that you don't break your nose, right?
Yeah, and if we want to toot our own horn, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but I'm very proud of the way that we grab our partners by the hand who've never sold Dynamics 365, and we get them through their first deal. It's always very interesting to see that once it's done, they kind of say to themselves, "That was it. It's easy as that." So that's always rewarding for me at least.
Yep. I like the numbers that I'm seeing right now. Most of you are saying that you don't have the necessary expertise, or you don't know where to start. Well,
Mhm.
a good way to start is just to give us a call. My role is exactly that. So to help you understand the client's basic needs, and then to make sure with our partner to partner program to match you up with an expert partner. And this is a great way to start to actually serve your client with something they really need, something that will make them boost their efficiency, grow their business, but also grow yours.
I'm actually a bit surprised, but very encouraged that no one answered that it wouldn't be a profitable business for me. If we ran that same poll a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
we would have had a lot more people saying that. And I see Joel nodding because, you know,
Oh yeah,
he's been in the business for a while. So we've done great strides, I guess, you know, in the industry to get that awareness out there that it is a highly profitable business for partners who want to get into it. And I wouldn't say not only profitable, but it's the fact that it increases that stickiness, that loyalty that is so ever elusive from clients whenever you're adding that whole other product line to the services that you provide for them. You know, you increase your chances exponentially that this client will never want to leave your business.
You're
and you know
actually becoming a superhero to that client.
one thing that I would add, and that's the greatest thing about Dynamics 365. Yeah, it is profitable business for the partner selling it, but it's also a profitable business for the customer buying it, because they're going to be providing their own customers with a lot better service. They'll get better knowledge of who their customers are and what they're doing, and they're going to be it's profitable for everyone. So it's a win-win-win type of solution.
Exactly. Yeah.
Indeed.
And that would be probably like one of the fears, you know, I would have had, you know, like, hey, I'm not too sure about this solution. It's fairly expensive. What's going to happen a year from now when the client says, yeah, I didn't get my money's worth? And as Joel just said, it actually doesn't happen.
If I can add, just imagine you not going to your client and asking what they need or trying to guide them in the right direction, them hearing about Dynamics 365 from another MSP or another Dynamics 365 partner. You're supposed to be their trusted advisor. You're there to help them with their security, with their productivity, but why not include Dynamics 365? And we're there to help you every step of the way.
Exactly. Like think of yourself as a family doctor, right? Like you are not expected to be the brain surgeon, the cardiac surgeon, the foot expert and whatnot, but you're expected to have your clients, your patient's best interest at heart and to ask those questions about, how are your feet feeling? Do you have any pain? I wouldn't know how to help you, but I do have the network and the resources to find you the right person that's going to help you with this specific need, and then I'll keep the relationship. You'll keep coming, seeing that same doctor the year afterward.
I really love that analogy, Alex.
Hey, so did we miss anything? Is there any questions or anything in the chat, or do we have a lot of shy people? So, oh, nothing yet so far that I can see. I know that we do have some that are going to be asked at the end. So let's see here, but don't be shy. We are doing this for you as much as possible. So as Joel teased a bit earlier, SureWeb makes all of these problems a lot easier to deal with. So if you'd like to talk about the 3 steps.
Yeah, yeah. And just one thing that I just wanted to make sure, some of the people said none of the above when they answered the poll. So every one of you that said none of the above, we'd be really interested in knowing, well, what's the main reason? We're curious to know. If you want to write them in the question section, and we want to know, and we want to see how we can help you.
And we're up for the challenge to try to find those solutions for you and help you get started on Dynamics.
Yeah. So, yeah, partner to partner network, I touched upon that. So basically, in 2016, me and some very nice Frenchmen that worked at SureWeb back then, we designed a plan around creating matching partners together. Basically, the way that we saw this is when you don't have that Dynamics 365 expertise, it requires a lot of investment to get up and running and start selling the solution and be a fully functional Dynamics 365 specialist. It's an interesting avenue to take. And if you're looking at taking that avenue, we can help you with that. But in the meantime, your customers are looking for Dynamics 365 solutions now. And you can't be the one saying no to them because they're going to go somewhere else. And maybe that person somewhere else will also offer them Office 365 the phone solutions, and there they go. So client goes away. So that's not what we're looking at. So we decided to build a partner network as a way for you, the partners that are getting asked about this solution, or maybe are hearing your customers talking about, hey, we're facing a challenge, and you want to offer them the solution. What SureWeb can do in the back end, we're going to go out, reach an expert partner that is not competing with you on your customers. They're there to help. They'll work with you exactly in the way that you want them to work with you, and then they'll provide the knowledge, they'll provide their expertise, they'll provide everything that you ask them to provide. You're still going to be the owners of the licensing revenue. And they're just coming in to do the grunt work, basically. So everyone wins again in this type of offers. Your customers are getting what they need. You're the main point of contact, and the partners that have the expertise are doing the installations that they need to do, and everyone's getting revenue out of this. So it's a win-win, and I would say win. So the 3 win. It's a win-win-win situation. Everybody expand
Exactly.
their skill set. Everybody dives into something brand new also. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah,
And
it's
if I
as
can add to
go ahead.
that, if you allow me to add to that, some Dynamics 365 partners will even get involved in the selling process to help you close the deal with your clients. So if you need a demo, if you need questions answered, they can also get involved at this very starting point.
Yeah, it's as close to a silver platter as you'll ever see
Yeah.
as a partner, because we, as Joel said, and shout out to Cyril, we love the guy. As they identified this major gap, and this may describe some of the people attending right now. They understand the dynamics is something. It's just they don't have the expertise. That's what 43% of you answered, and so we figured out that if we're able, because the integration is native, it's not going to be one extra portal, one extra bill, one extra set of users, and all of that. As the MSP, if your client right now is on Office 365 and you get one of these expert partners to implement Dynamics 365, your amount of overhead, your amount of work will have increased by 0. You will still have the exact same invoice to give them each month that's coming in with all of the different services that they have. It's just that Dynamics will be included as well in that one bill. So it really is a constant success story whenever a partner first tries this types of service, because they may not get opportunities every month or so, but they know that this service is there, and they know that the expert partners that we work with, they're not going to run out and hide into the woods as soon as the work is done and the check is cleared, right? We've vetted them. They're part of our network so that they can be there afterwards if there's any other further implementations, further projects that they want to use. They'll be there to help for that part. And as we've mentioned before, Dynamics in itself is highly profitable. So this is not too good to be true. An implementer will make his money on the implementation. They're going to be very happy to do that. It's a profitable business model. They don't need to try to steal your clients. It's not something, you don't have to worry about losing that relationship for, greener pastures. It's not
Correct.
the business model, the ones that want to do this.
And that is something that we confirm with these expert partners. And we've been playing this matchmaking game for years, and we know how to match you with the right partner, make sure that the agreement between you and that expert partner is perfect for you and the other partner as well.
Yeah. Good news. We have a lot of questions.
Okay.
So I
We're up
think
for
we
them.
can start. Let's start the discussion.
I think I'm going to leave it on that, the Q&A part, or should I just stop sharing my screen so we'll see ourselves bigger?
Well, no, I think you should leave it on that so
Okay.
people see
Oh, yeah,
the
the info,
contact.
contact us. Okay, so we have a fourth horseman who's hiding in the background. I don't know if he can start reading off some of the questions and see our facial expressions as we hear them.
Sure, I can read the questions.
There's
We have Manu Rai asking, where we are located, the cloud experience is quite slow at times. So I'm guessing that was an answer to why this particular partner wasn't reselling. So it's more of a reason why rather than a question.
Okay. One of the great things that a lot of people don't know is when we're selling cloud licenses in the Dynamics realm, they come with an on-prem version, basically. So you buy the cloud version, you get a key, and that key lets you install on-prem. So you're getting most of the functionalities. Let's not kid ourselves, though. Some of the functionalities need the cloud access, but if it's a slow access, means that it can use these cloud functionalities, you can have a hybrid deployment. That's possible with certain Dynamics 365 solutions, not all of them though. You'd either need to choose on-prem or cloud, but some of them do have the functionalities to work in a hybrid mode, depending on what you're looking at. We can go further into that if you want to reach us offline. We can see what you want to resell or what your customers are looking for. But basically, keep in mind when you're buying the cloud licenses, you can have an on-prem deployment, which makes a lot of sense in some types of situation, and slow internet access is one.
Yes, and as we all know, access to broadband internet has become a priority for not only internet service providers, but for governments as well. Both in the US and Canada, some very important initiatives have been passed, and on top of that, you have the private sector as well. Not to name him because he's always in the news, but Mr. Musk, he has the Starlink system which is going into beta as of August, which is satellite internet that boasts, allegedly boasts, obviously I'm not getting a payment for this, so I can't say for sure, gaming level internet speeds, which means less than 20 milliseconds lag time uptick, and practically nothing for the downstream, obviously. So those which, you know, a few years ago would have been major obstacles, now are becoming less and less important. And because of the nature of those Dynamics projects, you know, it's not a, hey, I want to buy this today, I want to be online tomorrow. It usually tends to be a couple of months of implementation, obviously depending on the scale of the project. You're looking at potentially having those solutions live and available to make sure that the internet bandwidth is not an issue.
Good. Next question.
Right. We have Carlos Sanchez asking, what comes with the Dynamics 365 licenses when it comes to Azure? Does a customer need to buy Azure separately or create their own Azure if they don't have one?
That's a very good question.
That's all usual.
Well, Dania, do you want to grab that one?
Oh,
Well,
Or
of
if
course
you want
I
me to...
can.
All right, go ahead.
I'll start, and you can maybe finish with more technical details. But whenever you purchase Dynamics 365, everything, like we said earlier, is built on common data model. So everything is built on Azure. You don't need to purchase an Azure subscription. If you do want to deploy something else on the side, you can, but it is not required. It's already there, already integrated. We talked about integration. The three clouds coming all together is what makes so much sense.
Yeah, so you're not managing servers on Azure. You're not managing space updating, server software updating, antivirus software. You're not dealing with anything around Azure. You're basically buying a license, creating a tenant inside Office 365, providing access to users, and boom, you're in. That's it. It's simple as that. The only time you would want to create something on Azure, for example, let's say you're buying Dynamics 365 for customer service, and you want to create your own bot on Azure, so he answers level 1 questions on chat for you for your team. Then you buy your Azure subscription, you buy your bot, you build your bot, and you connect it to your customer service solution. But by the way, there is a bot system already available under Dynamics 365 that you don't need to go on Azure. So, but there's a lot of add-ons on Azure that you could buy, but you're not even they're not required for, I would say, a lot of functionalities. It's when you want to go outside of the box and build stuff by yourself that you're getting an Azure solution.
Okay, so as far as the Azure component is concerned, it's pretty much plug and play.
Yeah, no fees, no management, nothing. It's
Would it
only
be
the
fair to
process.
say that a production instance is an Azure deployment?
It is.
Yeah.
Actually, it is.
All right.
You just don't need to manage it.
All right, thank you guys.
still have time.
Next question comes from John Marshall, and his question is, are there certification or staffing requirements? So I'm guessing to be able to resell Dynamics 365. I'm guessing that's what he's referring to.
That's a good question, John. You don't need to be certified to start reselling Dynamics 365. You simply need to have clients that do have the need to increase their productivity, their efficiency, and their business, grow their business. So as soon as you see that there's a need somewhere, reach out to us. We'll partner you up with a Dynamics 365 expert. They do have the certifications. They can do the work for you, but you keep the customer relationship. You get to keep the customer with you and the licenses as well.
That was a great question.
Basically, yeah, certifications, basically what it brings you is there's certain, when you become a Dynamics 365 expert, you get those certifications to make sure that you have the knowledge internally, so it confirms that you have that knowledge, and it also provides you with some internal use rights that are quite interesting for a Dynamics expert because they get access to free licenses. But yourself, as Tanya mentioned, you don't need that certification. If you want to go after it, be our guest. We can provide you all the links, all the directions that you need, and then you can become yourself an expert, but it's not required.
One thing that I can add to that is if you do want to get more information or a little bit of training on Dynamics 365, the Dynamics 365 fundamentals is a great way to start because it will show you all the possibilities this amazing tool can do for you. And it's done, like I said, it's not just a tool, it's a full ecosystem. So once you know all the possibilities that are in there, it'll be easier for you to detect what your clients can need. And when your clients are talking about pain points managing their business, it'll be easier for you to just match it with one of the tools within Dynamics 365 ecosystem.
Our great Alexandre Oracle just told me there's a lot of question left, and keep going. He likes our answers also. So when he says
You
that,
guys are you guys are doing great.
all right, thanks,
All
Alex.
right, we have Bernard Marist, and his question is, why is Dynamics so expensive? How do we price it?
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I've heard that before. If you're comparing that to Microsoft Office, you can think that the pricing might be way more. But when you're starting to compare the market out there and what you're getting for that price, it starts to make a lot more sense. So when you go out and look at competition, let's say on the CRM side with Salesforce, when you're oh, I see Alex has his finger up.
I have a fun one because I would answer to that with a question. Why is a house so more expensive than a car?
hmm So basically, that's where I was going with that. There's so much in Dynamics 365. Basically, you're running your business off of it. Would you give the keys to your business to someone that doesn't have business management skills? Basically, when you're transferring your business processes inside Dynamics, you're getting all that logic that was built over the years. And Microsoft, well, if you look at them as a company, they've done pretty well for themselves. So you're getting all of that expertise inside the software, and it's really worth the investment. And I can assure you, Dynamics 365 for sales, there's a return on investment of about $14 for $1 invested.
Mhm.
So you're not spending money with Dynamics, you're going to be gaining money. The marketing solution makes you money. You're building your client base. So it costs a certain amount per month, but you're getting new customers and you're selling more, and so on.
Great answer. Next question,
Great.
I think.
Next question.
We still have time, I think.
Yes, we have Shane Gibby with more of a high-level basic question, but he's asking what constitutes MS Dynamics 360 MS Dynamics. So he wants to know what is included in Dynamics 365. Just generally, what are the parts and what are the applications that are included?
That's a great question. Tanya, do you want to go with it?
Oh, maybe again,
Maybe.
Tanya
Yeah,
will sign up for that Starlink system as soon as it's out in her region.
I'll grab the question in that case. Basically, Dynamics 365, there's a lot of solutions for customer management, customer engagement. So marketing solution, sales solution, customer service solution, field service solution, and project service automation, which is basically on the customer engagement side. Then there's an ERP, which is on the other side, so enterprise resource planning. So there's Business Central for smaller companies. There's a human resource solution. There's a full-blown enterprise ERP that includes finance, supply chain management, commerce. Um, you can build your own transactional website with that commerce solution. I'm surely forgetting some stuff, but it's so big. But then that's the beauty of the Microsoft solution. It expands on the Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI solutions, which lets you tailor your Dynamics ecosystem exactly to your needs, or you can buy those solutions by themselves and build what you would like. So yeah, it's that big. It covers anything and everything that you might need within your business.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, it was like the question was, can you recite the periodic table of elements? And Joel just did.
Yeah, okay.
So well done.
All right, thanks.
Well, the Dynamics 365 ecosystem is a little bit something like that.
Ever expanding.
All
Next
right.
question.
Next question is actually an answer to the question we asked earlier about the reasons why they were not reselling. So Miles Price says they already use other CRM and ABM/PBM tools from Salesforce to outreach and MarTech solutions. Their marketing and sales RevOps stacks. So yeah, so basically the answer is they already use other solutions which do
And it seems that it's well integrated as well. You know, obviously, hard work can only be talent if talent fails to work hard, right? So if they have a Salesforce expert who's done their work correctly and has done, you know, all of this integration and it works well with their stack, it's going to be a very hard win. I would say wait every update because that point is going to remain valid. There is going to be an update at some point that's going to break everything. And that's going to be your opportunity to go in and say, hey, by the way, wouldn't have that issue with D365. Do you go on LinkedIn? Yeah, that's Microsoft's too.
Oh,
Yeah.
and one thing
Yeah.
to keep in mind also with Salesforce, sorry, Tanya, I'll be
Go
very
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead.
Salesforce has the really bad habit of, and I like the product, by the way. I like the company, I like the product, I like they have a good product, but basically they're getting you inside a 3 to 5 year contract, and each year pricing goes up quite it's surprising in some cases. We've had customers say we started off, it was just something at $75, and we're 3 years later and it's costing us $225 per month per user.
Per user.
So there's a money factor. That's where Dynamics comes in. Pricing is lower, so keep that in mind. You kind of lay your ears and start and try to find if they're mentioning, well, pricing. If they keep mentioning that it costs a lot to use Salesforce, that's, you might want to say, hey, by the way, I do have something, do you want to see it?
Exactly. And I actually work under the motto that if it's not broken, don't fix it. But keep
Exactly.
your ears open because your clients will at some point verbalize and mention pain points that they have with their current system. So they're working with Salesforce. Does Salesforce have an excellent ERP or inventory management system? No, they have to plug it through something else. So this might be a pain point that they do mention down the road. So just keep your ears open and be ready and maybe mention it a few times. Don't push too much.
No.
And when they are ready to make a switch, to make a change, to improve their work processes through better tools, you'll be there and you'll be ready.
Yeah, because again, the number one goal is to help your clients, to give that added value. You don't want to, you know, force things onto them that are not necessary at that time. So like Tanya says, just wait for your opportunity. It'll come.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we have
Next
4
question.
more questions and only 5 minutes. So maybe we can go a little over time, but I would just make it quick for the next ones. Jeff Edwards asks, I am migrating about 20 O365 licenses into our SureWeb portal soon. I'm pretty new with these types of migrations. What is needed from the existing MSP holding the licenses to ensure a smooth transition into SureWeb?
Well, actually,
So
I did know the answer to that. That's the only technical question today that's in my field. Okay. The only thing you would need from the losing MSP, which is actually not even from that MSP, but from the client's tenant, is credentials for a global admin user. And this will allow you to have in the Cumulus portal with SureWeb, send a relationship request from the new indirect CSP to that tenant, and you'll be able to accept it on behalf of that tenant. Without that access, you won't be able to get anywhere. And very, very quickly, it is not a migration, it's simply an admin switch. So it's really like, instead of the old MSP that's billing them, it's going to be you. There's no impact on the users at all. There's nothing to re-download. There's nothing to click or anything like that. So it's really not a migration, but a very simple flip of a switch.
one thing that I would like to add, just make sure you reach out to your account manager. You either have a dedicated account manager or an account management team. Reach out to them. They'll guide you every step of the way. And once you've done one, you'll see how so easy this process is.
Right.
Next.
We have Dayo Nariwo, who is providing us with a reason why he's not reselling. He or she is not reselling.
This is awesome.
So
Thank
one
you
of the
so much.
reasons for, yeah, we do appreciate it. One of the reasons for not selling is understanding the licensing model and cost implications. There are just too many options. Can you please provide a bit of clarity on that?
Oh yeah, I can understand. It's a full-time job, just and that's my job, understanding the
So
licensing.
much.
And Microsoft has the nice habit of shuffling things around, renaming stuff. So there's, I would say, in case you're not selling it on a daily basis, there's no case in point for you to learn all the licensing. But keep, there is some, if you go to dynamics.com, you're going to see it's the Dynamics website. You're going to see all products. They're all named. You can easily navigate through that within an hour. You'll have a full understanding of what's available, but not necessarily of the whole licensing process in the back end. That's where we come in. But as long as you can talk about the CRM or the customer service solution, and if a customer mentions, I'm dealing with this type of problem, can you help me? If you know what's available on the dynamic side, we'll help you with the licensing. That's our job, and don't worry too much
Yep.
about understanding all the small intricacies.
Yeah, go by
Exactly.
services and not licenses. So, marketing, HR, sales, customer service. As long as you're able to understand those concepts and that Dynamics does handle those, then you're able to take that first step in the conversation and offload the expertise to our partner network.
Exactly. And let's work as a team. Give me a call. That's what I do on a daily basis. If you're not sure, give me a call and tell me what conversations you've had with that client. And we'll determine together what are the modules or the apps that they need. And then we can determine the licensing together. And then we can match you up with a Dynamics 365 expert partner. But the first thing is open the conversation and then engage with us. We'll
Mhm.
help you every step of the way.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Two more questions and then we're done. Mark Ibanez asks, what 365 services would you use for the entire management of a town hall with a population of 33,000 inhabitants?
What
So I'm
I've
guessing
seen,
that's a client of his or their own business. Not quite sure.
yeah,
Well,
well,
that's a large question because it
that's a
depends on
very
their
large question.
needs.
Yes, and basically what I've seen with small cities or when they have that many people, there are some out of the box solution within the Dynamics realm that you can plug in for population management. So that exists. It's just not sold necessarily by Microsoft, but ISVs. But a lot of time you're managing your town's resources. So you're managing people that are gonna fix street, do anything that you need to do within a city, a small town. So it always drives on the side of the ERP. So there's
Mhm.
Business Central, but that's a little small. When we're looking at 33,000 people, there's there's the finance solution, the supply chain management solution, all of those. What it lets you do is manage your assets, manage your so buildings, schools. Just think about every building that you need to manage, but also all resources that you need to manage, and then you can have the customers living inside that solution. So you have every town people's name, address, and then you can build a file around what they do, what they need, or what they own. Do they own land? Are they farmers? Are they? So yeah, it's a big question, as Tanya mentioned. We will need to sit down and kind of figure out what's needed. And we would need to connect you with some of our expert partners that have done these types of implementation. But you're most likely looking at an ERP solution.
But otherwise, like you wouldn't need to step out of the Dynamics
Yep.
No,
ecosystem to be
through
able to accomplish
ISV, it
everything.
all connects. Yes.
So then the advantage of the common data model will, go into full force because they're
Prevail.
going to need so many different type of services.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have time for the last question or did we bust it?
And I'm
No,
pretty sure
I
if
think.
we do the inventory,
Sorry, go ahead, Tanya.
Well, I think she
Tanya?
like.
I'm pretty sure if we do the inventory of all the systems they're using right now,
Mhm.
they probably would find everything they need within that single ecosystem.
Mhm.
Great. So last question comes from Manu Rai. So basically they're asking, do you support partners outside of North America for example, Africa?
That's a really interesting and timely question, I would say. One of the great things that we just learned, let's just say it this way: Microsoft's Dynamics 365 CSP program wouldn't let us sell outside of North America. It has recently changed. We are getting familiar with all countries that we can now sell to, and our and if SureWeb will sell to them, because our most important, I would say, what we aim for is providing a quality service. So that's can we provide quality service on a 24-hour basis? Because we're looking at another time zone, and Dynamics 365 is such a business critical solution. So we are looking at it. Keep that question. Reach out to your account manager if you don't have one. You have the address on the screen right now, partners@sureweb.com. Reach out to us, and we'll provide you with a final answer, maybe within a month, because we're looking at different aspects of what it implies.
I mean, it's on the roadmap, right?
Yeah.
So even if today we wouldn't be able to do it fully,
It's coming down
within
the line.
12 to 18 months, we'll be able to full.
Correct.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. It seems that most people stayed to the end, so you were as interested in the questions as we were. And this recording will be available, I believe, on demand. But before sticking my foot in my mouth, I'm going to let our hidden person wrap this up.
Yes, so we will be sending the slides and the recording this week.
Excellent. And I'm looking forward to answering your questions and working with you on any projects you might have.
Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, thanks, everyone. Have a great one.
Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.